A lot of people were upset that Blue Protocol never released globally. Blue Protocol was my most anticipated MMO because I'm a huge anime game fan. The fact that it never released was an absolute travesty. But when it shut down, China announced that they were going to be releasing a version that was even better than the Japanese Blue Protocol, called Blue Protocol Star Residence. As of, what is this? March 2nd, so a couple days ago, the official Blue Protocol Bilibili page released information, numerous different pages of information actually, along with the statement that it has been 2 months since the Star Test, which was a very localized test phase that very few people got to play, ended, and we waved goodbye. Many adventurers are curious, what have we been busy with in the past 2 months? What new progress has been made to the game? It's time to bring out the first issue of Star Residence information column. Take a look at the latest developments together. So here we're gonna get to see how the game is progressing, maybe learn about the next test phase, see where improvements are being made, or if improvements are sufficient. All of these are in Chinese, but Google Translate has this little feature here that allows for you to translate images, which is what I did. We're gonna look at them piece by piece. The first one translated, the developer team newsletter. Many problems were exposed during the Star Test. After the test, the main focus was on sorting out the problems and formulating and implementing optimization and adjustment plans. All work is in progress. Before the Spring Festival, Star Residence obtained a valuable version number, which also initiated a series of related preparations to prepare for the next stage of testing. Next, we will directly enter the sharing session of the So they obtained their version number. So they're publishing their licensing number, which means that the game has to release before March 2026. We have a release date, an actual semi-confirmation of a release date before March 2026. That's actually very good. Very good news. After the last round of testing, the feedback on the UI and interaction was very concentrated. After many discussions and coordination, the project team currently plans to configure 2 different UIs on PC and mobile terminal. Oh, we're gonna have unique UIs depending on the platform. So we're gonna have a PC UI and a mobile UI, which is great. Mobile UIs for any games suck. They just suck when played on PC. So it's good to see that they're overhauling that and implementing a PC exclusive UI. The PC UI will be more in line with the style that everyone is familiar with, while the mobile UI will be optimized and adjusted on the existing basis. So the PC UI is actually taking precedence and the mobile UI is going to be an afterthought. The parallel use of 2 assets of UI will bring more challenges to future updates and maintenance. At present, the project team is trying various optimizations to bring a better experience. The changes in the actual machine experience brought about by such changes are also needed to be verified through everyone's feedback in future tests. So we do have a confirmation though, there are going to be additional test phases moving into the future, which is great news. The plot presentation. So that was actually, I know people had an issue with the story. So in the last test, everyone's satisfaction with the plot was low. Yeah, there was dissatisfaction with the story. In response to this issue, the adventurers who participated in the test gave many suggestions for adjustments. Some adventurers also helped to sort out the rhythm of the story, discussed how to make adjustments, and gave corresponding constructive opinions, which is great. That's the purpose of a test phase after all. On this basis, the planning team focused on adjusting the narrative style and plot rhythm, simplifying the amount of information, increasing the plot foreshadowing, and making the story simple and smooth. At the same time, the character image was adjusted by optimizing the lines and the way the plot was presented. So, okay. One issue with both gacha games and MMOs that I think a lot of games have when it comes to narrative and presentation is that they're a convoluted mess. What they need to be is heavily condensed down into something that is easily digestible. I don't know if you guys watch my weekly gacha recap series, but I always started off by saying that I'm presenting the video in an easy to digest format. And that is because nobody wants to sit down and read through 30 minutes of text when you can accomplish the same thing by providing a condensed version of said text in a 5-minute, much more easy to read and to digest format. Before we go any further, I do want to take a moment here to thank all of my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I genuinely cannot thank you all enough for the support. The adjustments to the plot experience are difficult to describe in a few words, so I won't go into detail here. When the next test starts, adventurers will be able to experience it for themselves. New content production. The production of new content is also in progress. The previously mentioned life occupation has now completed the first stage of development. Life occupation. In Ragnus, adventurers could study different life occupations according to their inner... Oh, so like life skills. Like fishing, mining, harvesting, crafting. Of course, as the study of occupations becomes more sophisticated, the adventurers will gain more. The production of new scenes and new maps is also progressing steadily. When we meet next time, the adventurers' exploration range will be further expanded, and different scenery will bring different exploration experiences. Fantastic. They're already working on introducing new regions into the game. Finally, the home system that everyone is concerned about is also under development. A home system, so like a housing system? Wait, Blue Protocol didn't have a housing system, but this is going to. The system is currently less complete and cannot be put into testing for the time being. When there is a phase progress in the future, we'll share it with you through official content. They're gonna be working on a housing system, a functional housing system for Blue Protocol. That is impressive. Admittedly, it's something I did not expect to see. Questions and answers. Will you be in a hurry to launch the game after getting the version number? Okay, so the version number, for those that don't know or didn't watch the previous bit where I discussed what that was, it is essentially a number that you acquire in China that allows for you to publish your game that has a 1-year deadline. So if you do not publish your game within that year, you lose your version number and you need to either apply for a new one or for an extension. So now that they have this, they are forced technically to release by March 2026. What they're asking here is if they're gonna now rush to release before their deadline expires. The product polishing of Star Residence is still in progress, and there are still many key tasks that have not been completed, including whether the tuning progress of existing problems has met expectations, whether the progress of new content reserves is smooth, whether the necessary functions for the official launch have been completed, etc. And all of this is still in progress. At least at this stage, the project team will do its best to improve the quality and efficiency of all types of work. The first goal of solving previously very concentrated problem feedback and improving the completion of the game would strive to start the next test as soon as possible. Fantastic, I can't wait to try the next test phase. Oh, no, currently our main focus is on version development. The production of many promotional materials is highly related to the development environment, so there's a certain delay. When the version is more fully prepared, everyone will definitely receive information through various official accounts. The project team will also start from this month to increase the frequency of synchronizing information. Oh, so starting from March 2025, they're going to be releasing more frequent information about the game and its progress. That is fantastic to hear. So what this means is that moving forward each month, I am going to have more streams like this where we go over the information that the Blue Protocol devs provide us. Fantastic. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to hear that. It's also interesting though, and what do you guys think about this? They have chosen to not advertise the game until the game is complete enough, rather than releasing a pre-rendered trailer and then getting you excited for a game and then it turning out completely differently once it releases. What are your thoughts? Would you rather them release a pre-rendered trailer, a cinematic trailer, and then go a year without anything, 2 years without anything other than that pre-rendered cinematic trailer? Or would you rather they wait until they're largely finished the game and then release something, and that something that you see be what is going to essentially be the game? Because I'd prefer them to delay the release of a trailer and not be too concerned with hype, but then just release something that is tangible and that is more consumable, and I think more that isn't necessarily disingenuous. But that's me personally. Stupid move because trailers give the anticipation. Reminds me of what Wuwa did. A little bit, yeah. They're playing for actual in-game content for promotional stuff rather than pre-rendered stuff, which is good to see and good to hear. I think that is genuinely good news because they're taking a different approach. Games tend to release something to build hype and then fail to live up to the anticipation that has been built. Whereas what they're doing here, knowing the feedback that the original Blue Protocol received, releasing something with the knowledge that players are already kind of on the fence about it, and then, you know, with this in mind, they're not gonna fail to live up to the anticipation because there is nothing to anticipate. Where is the Pathfinder suit? Take it out. The Pathfinder server is being prepared. Oh, okay, the test server. As a very small-scale confidential test environment, the Pathfinder server will be opened earlier than the public recruitment test, and its stability and completion will be lowered. So they're gonna hold two different upcoming test phases: the Pathfinder test, and then the public recruitment test. Many adventurers are concerned about, if I didn't get a spot in the Pathfinder server before, will I have another chance in the future? The positioning of the Pathfinder server determines that its scale will not be too large and the number of people will be increased or limited at any time according to the needs of the test. Adventurers can also pay attention to the official information. Okay, so interesting that they're holding 2 different test phases. One is likely to be is evidently a much smaller scale test with its own individual server, where the public recruitment test is going to be a much larger scale with potentially numerous different servers. I'm okay with that. The last test of Lamo was so brilliant. Will there be more drama in the next test? In addition, the design and proofing of the Thunder Demon Silk peripherals have also started, and the future adventurers can obtain them by doing stuff. Okay, so I think that's it. Yeah, that is all the information that we have for Blue Protocol Star Residence right now. It's honestly, that is pretty damn significant. They're working on overhauling so much, so many different aspects of the game, implementing so many different features, including player housing, which is wild. They're focused more on completing the game rather than releasing, trailers for it. They received their version number, the official publishing licensing number, to publish the game, to release the game by March 2026. They're planning on holding multiple different test phases between now and the release before March 2026, which is fantastic. They're going to be releasing monthly content drops, info drops, that we're going to be able to, or that are going to keep us surprised. That way we don't fall behind and we know what they're actively working on and doing. I hopefully get into the test phase for this because I would love to try it, to provide feedback, and maybe help it towards a more successful launch. I don't know. Are you guys excited based off of what you've seen and what you've heard thus far? Because I am. This all sounds very promising. Now, it could just be them talking out their ass, trying to build hype, but from what I've seen and what I've read and heard, they seem kind of passionate about it. They actually seem like they want to provide a game that people will play. And honestly, that wasn't the original Blue Protocol. The original Blue Protocol was not a game that many people wanted to play. Whether this game is a success or a failure is going to depend on how the community receives the game. How the game ultimately does, how players ultimately receive it, is going to be based off of the alterations that they make, and whether players are happy and think that they're putting sufficient and adequate time and efforts into making the alterations that they want to see. Wuthering Waves has proven to be very receptive to player feedback and is crafting a game that we all want, rather than other games that present a game and make changes that they want. So most games, there are 2 different styles of development that studios seem to adhere to. There's one where studios seem to think that they know better, that they know what players want, and they will make balance changes, implement features, add or remove things entirely from the game that they think would make the game better, that they think players want in or remove from their game. And then there are studios like Kudo Games, who are the ones that do Wuthering Waves, that ask for player feedback, gauge what players want, and then they make alterations, balancing changes, and introduce or remove what players genuinely want, rather than what studios perceive players want. One of those studios is seeing significant success. Many other studios with many other MMOs, video games, gacha games, all are seeing absolute failure. There's a reason certain Eastern games have been so successful over the course of the last couple years, because they know what players want. Western games seem to have forgotten this. Kudo know what players want because they ask players. They're transparent with players. A lot of studios aren't that. So then we get the mess that we have when it comes to various different subgenres of gaming. Hey, where do you think you're going? I see what you're doing there. I see you navigating on over, scrolling on over to that X button. Don't you dare. What I need you to do is take a moment and click one of the videos that are about to appear as soon as I'm done talking. And trust me, you're gonna want it.